I apologize in advance. I won't be showing my face today. I'm not feeling well and I'm quite pale. I'm going to start off with a passage which I'm going to be taking from Eckhart Tolle's book, which is called Stillness Speaks. The passage reads as follows: How quickly we are to form an opinion of a person, to come to a conclusion about them. It is satisfying to the egoic mind to label another human being, to give them a conceptual identity, to pronounce righteous judgment upon them. Every human being has been conditioned to think and behave in certain ways, conditioned genetically, as well as by their childhood experiences and their cultural environment. That is not who they are, but that is who they appear to be. When you pronounce judgment upon someone, you confuse those conditioned mind patterns with who they are. To do that is in itself a deeply conditioned and unconscious pattern. You give them a conceptual identity, and that false identity becomes a prison not only for the other person, but also for yourself. To let go of judgment does not mean that you don't see what they do. It means that you recognize their behavior as a form of conditioning, and you see it and accept it as that. You don't construct an identity out of it for that person. That liberates you as well as the other person from identification with conditioning, with form, with mind. The ego then no longer runs your relationships. Now, I don't know about you, but I am blown away with what Eckhart is writing over here. He gives us such an amazing tip, such a beautiful tip to deal with difficulties, to deal with difficult people, and to contemplate and make sense of people who hurt us in the past. They were simply dealing with a conditioned mindset. It's not who they are. Now, if you've been hurt badly by somebody and you've been left scarred, and now you're a victim, nobody should come along and tell you, just remove the shackles of victimhood. You're good to go. No, it takes time. These things take time. It takes time to remove. There's even a layer of self-forgiveness of oneself and self-forgetfulness. In other words, you have to get to a stage of self-forgetfulness. You have to forget what that other person did to you. But when you reach to this level that Eckhart Tolle talks about here, of being able to see others not according to the conceptual identity which the egoic mind likes to project to us, you become very liberated as a result. You become a liberated being. And it's phenomenal. It can liberate you. It could set you free. It could literally set you free. Imagine being free. No more shackles. No more wretchedness. No more pain. No more suffering. I think that's powerful. I'm going to follow on with some excerpts from my book, which I'm in the middle of writing. As you all know, I'm writing a book, started in January. And right now we're up to page 260. Exciting, isn't it? But I'm going to go back a little bit because it's pretty exciting and alarming where I'm going to start off this particular passage in the book. I got a phone call from the officer of the court. A few days later, she turned to me and said, "Jessica, do you realize how grossly irresponsible you are as a parent? How selfish you are to put yourself on the front page of a newspaper?" I turned to the honorable court officer, and I said to her, "Ma'am, I thought I'd make it clear that it was not something I was aware of prior to its publication." And she turned to me and she said, "What would happen if your son Stefan were to see the paper on a park bench?" I responded, "Has Stefan seen it on a park bench?" I thought to myself, how considerate she is. Although she didn't voice any consideration when I made her aware that my children were taken for photo ops with a rabbi who rallied funds to support hate and unkind verbal exchange concerning myself. This photo was shared on social media and on WhatsApp by the children's other parent. The hypocrisy made me realize, as if I still needed verification, that this was never about justice. It was about supporting parental alienation. I was but one person fighting many. It would be a lot to ask of me to try and get a fair hearing as much as I tried, persisted, and argued my case. How could the voice of a loner distill the voices of so many? What am I, Superman or something? I just thought I would add that when thinking about this, I thought to myself, how do we like not judge people here in a negative way? You know, yes, I did come to an end point here. I came to the final point, and I said, let's consider the fact that I was a loner. I was one person fighting against so many others. So it was a lot to ask for them to consider my position. Nonetheless, how do we understand this from what Eckhart Tolle writes in his book about realizing that other people are just conditioned with a certain mindset and it's not who they are? I thought to myself, you know, as long as the ego runs your life, most of your thoughts and your emotions and actions arrive from desire and fear. Same thing is with relationships also. You then either want or fear something from the other person. And I saw it in the continuum there in the book. Eckhart Tolle writes, when you want from when you want from them, what you want from them may be pleasure or material gain, recognition, praise or attention, or a strengthening of your sense of self through comparison and through establishing that you are, have, or know more than they. What you fear is that the opposite may be the case, and they may diminish your sense of self in some way. That's actually what played out in my story. I was going to prove. The other parties were going to prove. The other parties were going to regulate the situation, organize it, and orchestrate it to an outcome, to bring results with an outcome which were unfavorable towards the parties involved. But there's conditioning there. There's conditioning there. And when there is conditioning, people go along with their conditioning in autopilot mode. That's the way it is. That's my message today. Again, I apologize I couldn't show my face. Like I said, I'm not feeling so well. I appreciate all your amazing comments, all your amazing thoughts. Thank you so much, Beth. It was great to see your point on a couple of videos lately. And Mike, once again, I want to thank you for continuously leaving your great insights, your great feedback, which mean a lot to me. And they mean a lot to all the viewers here as well. And Beth as well, likewise, your insights, story of the Nativ was very insightful, and I hope you liked my comment. I mean, you told me you enjoyed the comment. I'm glad to hear that. It was quite remarkable when I saw that law from Isaac Newton. And I wrote that in the comments from that video. I think it's last week's video. Isaac Newton's law of, the law of action and reaction, and why it doesn't apply for the negative mindset type of people. That's my message today. I'm ever so grateful to all of you for leaving your thoughts and comments, for leaving your likes, and I'm ever so grateful to the amazing new subscribers who have come on board. I won't disappoint you. I'm here to share my great insights, to share great tips, which I learned through my amazing life experience. I love you all. I'm wishing you an amazing week ahead, and I look forward to see you again next Thursday. Have a great week. Love you all.